Greetings, everyone. I'm Dr. Wang, and today I'll delve into an intriguing facet of the Chinese kinship system, specifically the distinctions related to cousins. Chinese culture employs unique terms for cousins based on their paternal and maternal lineages. Here is a family tree. Let's first look at the paternal side of the family tree. In Chinese culture, we distinguish between a father's brothers and sisters. The descendants of a father's brothers all have the same surname as me, while the children of a father's sisters have different surnames from me. In the early Chinese concept, women were considered outsiders after marriage. They were no longer part of the same family. The people in the circle above are all my cousins.
堂兄弟姐妹
I call the older males my
堂哥
the younger males my
堂弟
the older females my
堂姐
and the younger females my
堂妹
The children of my father's sisters and my mother's siblings have different surnames from me, so they are considered my cousins.
表兄弟姐妹
I call the older males my
表哥
the younger males my
表弟
the older females my
表姐
and the younger females my
表妹
The only exception is if my mother's sister married into my father's family. In this case, her children have the same surname as me, so they are considered my
堂
cousins. Because women are married, they are sometimes married to people who live in very distant places. As a result, my
表
cousins may live very far away. Even people who are not closely related by blood may call each other
表
cousins to get closer. This is the origin of the Chinese idiom 1 biao cousin, connect a relationship from 3,000 miles away, which describes the long-distance relationships between
表
cousins. We must recognize that, genetically speaking, the relationship between cousins on all sides of the family is identical. However, early Chinese culture distinguished between cousins on the father's brother's side and cousins on the mother's side, as well as the children of father's sisters, since cousins on the father's brother's side share the same surname. As a result, Chinese people distinguished among these relationships. Curiously, cousins on the mother's side and the children of father's sisters were permitted to marry, whereas cousins who are the father's brother's children were forbidden to marry. This practice was rooted in the understanding that inbreeding could heighten the risk of recessive genetic disorders, thus endangering health. The belief that blood ties remained consistent, regardless of surnames, was paramount. It's noteworthy that in the annals of European royal and wealthy families, inbreeding also posed a substantial threat to the well-being of future generations. From Russia to Portugal and even ancient Egypt, inbreeding was once deemed a sacred practice. However, in royal families, it led to a proliferation of birth defects. Now, let's return to the Chinese kinship system. Cousins who are the father's brother's children are collectively known as
堂兄弟姐妹
The Chinese character
堂
is composed of two components, the upper part being
上
signifying high and the lower part being the earth radical.
土
Interestingly, in the American West, many Chinese laborers contributed to railroad construction. Many people at the time wondered why they never saw Chinese funerals. The reason was that these laborers were deeply influenced by the idea of returning to their ancestral lands. When they were near death, they did everything they could to return home to be buried with their ancestors. To help us remember, the pronunciation of the Chinese character
堂
is similar to the English word town. In our imagination, in many Chinese villages, the entire community comprises individuals of the same surname, descendants of a shared ancestor. So, likening it to an English town makes it easy to recall that everyone in the town shares the same surname and are, therefore, cousins. The upper part of the character
堂
represented by
上
which means high, can be associated with the English pronunciation of shone. For a visual memory aid, imagine a shining star above the character
上
symbolizing shone. In summary, cousins who are the father's brother's children, who share the same surname, live in the same town, and will be interred in the same cemetery, are collectively termed
堂兄弟姐妹
This makes the concept simpler, doesn't it? Now let's practice the stroke order of the character
上
The mouth under the middle part of sh
上
and the three strokes above it show that it is a high building.
上上上上上上上上
The strokes of the character
土
are a combination of a block of dust and a horizontal stroke, which represent the earth.
土
土土 土
To write the character,
堂
write
上
first and then
土
below it.
堂堂堂堂堂堂堂堂堂堂堂
Now, let's consider cousins on the mother's side. All of my cousins on the mother's side, the children of my mother's siblings, are my cousins.
表兄弟姐妹
The children of my father's sisters are also my.
表兄弟姐妹
They are both called.
表兄弟姐妹
The Chinese character
表
for these cousins originally referred to the surface of a fur coat. This suggests that in ancient China, the children of father's sisters and the children of my mother's siblings were both perceived as more distant than the children of father's brothers, like the outer layer of a coat, with a social distance separating them. To help us remember, we can use the English pronunciations bee and owl for the character.
表
We can also create a mnemonic device by imagining a hybrid creature merging a bee and an owl. This creature can embody both the industriousness of a bee and the wisdom of an owl. Visualizing which of your maternal cousins resembles this unique
表
creature can be an effective way to remember that cousins on the mother's side are termed
表
in Chinese. When writing the character,
表
keep in mind that the lower part is the character
一
meaning clothes. This essentially depicts the strokes that come out of the collar's edge. The strokes above the shirt
一
represent the fur on the outside of the coat. Always follow the conventions of Chinese writing, begin from the top, proceed from left to right, and start with the fur on the outside of the shirt before outlining the collar. Here are some valuable tips for memorizing the Chinese kinship system. For cousins who are the father's brother's children, associate with the word town. For cousins on the mother's side, also known as the children of father's sisters, link to the word biao. For the character
堂
think of a towering mound of earth, akin to a pyramid, which signifies the ancestral resting place. For the character
表
imagine the surface of a fur coat, symbolizing the outer layer of protection for the person wearing the coat. Now, let's write
一
and
表
when writing,
一
envision crafting the upper part of a man's clothing. Begin by drawing a small section, resembling the trademark on the back of the collar, followed by a horizontal line representing half of the collar, then proceed with the left side, connecting it to the buttons and adding a small flourish for aesthetics. Continue with the right side of the collar, ensuring the outward slant maintains visual balance and enhances aesthetic appeal.
一一一一一一
Now, let's compose.
表
Begin with 2 horizontal lines to denote the fur on the exterior of the garment, following the writing method of clothes. Substitute the trademark symbol with a vertical line, intersecting the fur delineated by the 2 horizontal lines. Proceed to sketch half of the collar, the left side connected to the buttons with a small flourish. Conclude by drawing the right side of the collar, again with an outward slant to preserve symmetry and aesthetic appeal.
表表表表表表表表
These techniques will help facilitate your understanding of the Chinese kinship system. I want to give a big shout out to the learning program for stroke order of Chinese characters, supported by Taiwan's Ministry of Education, for their invaluable assistance.
兄兄兄兄兄哥哥哥哥哥哥哥哥哥哥弟弟弟弟弟弟弟姐姐姐姐姐姐姐姐姐姐 姐，姐，姐，姐，姐，姐，妹，妹，妹，妹，妹，妹，妹，妹。
After you've gone through the stroke order practice, have you managed to commit the pronunciations, characters, and the stories behind these Chinese words to memory? So, there you have it, some enjoyable and memorable ways to learn Chinese pronunciations and characters using a creative method based on scaffolding learning theory. Thank you for tuning into this episode of our educational series. If you found our teaching approach helpful and enjoyable for your Chinese learning journey, please give us a thumbs up and show your support. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive more teaching episodes. Also, consider recommending our teaching videos to friends who might be interested in learning Chinese, helping them avoid the frustrations that can come with learning a new language. Your support and encouragement mean a lot to us. We'll catch you in the next episode.